Sweet. So we have got this wants to talk about exorcisms. So we've got Micheal. You are on the line with Martin and Brian. And Martin, Brian, I hope you have call-in studio up right now.
I do.
I sure do. I just put Micheal through. So Micheal,
Awesome.
can you hear us?
Yes.
Right. Thank you for calling tonight. I understand you want to talk about exorcisms, which is kind of an interesting topic. So it kind of overlaps with some mental illness stuff and things like that. Let's hear what you got to say.
Well, I am an exorcist, and what I do is, well, you know, I wasn't always an exorcist, but what I did was I started, you know, I lived a rough life. A lot of bad things happened to me, so I started to say, you know, it's the devil, you know, and so I started writing down everything, every evil thing I witnessed, every evil thing that was done to me. I wrote it down, and then I kind of came up with like a common denominator that it was all about, you know, disturbing the peace. Everything I wrote down that was evil disturbed my peace. So I was saying, like, okay, so all evil is basically a disturbance of the peace. So then I was like, you know, that's the root of all evil, disturbing the peace. And then one day I performed an actual exorcism on somebody. And that I saw was like acting kind of demonically possessed. And then I performed an exorcism, and then a little while later, I entered a supernatural realm, a place called Purgatory. And I was in there for 25 days, and then I learned a lot about the devil and purgatory. And
where,
you know,
can I ask you a question real quick?
Yeah.
So you said you were in purgatory. In what sense? Were you...
Basically, I was sitting in my room, and then it's like, basically, it's like, you know, you could have a bunch of people walking around you, and you can't see them. But if you're in purgatory, you'll be able to see a different dimension of, and they're on Earth.
Did you leave your body?
Yeah, are we talking about a physiological experience? Like, did this happen to you physically? Was this something that happened?
Oh yeah,
in your head?
I could feel them. Like, you can, a person. The reason why people don't enter supernatural realms is because they can die in there. I could have died in purgatory. I could have been murdered.
So it sounds like there's some guidelines and stuff that you seem to know a bit about. Where'd you learn this stuff from? Like about the Joe, you can die in purgatory. Where's that information?
Well, I learned it when I entered purgatory, because you can feel their discomfort, but you have to be able to be like a wizard, you know, like Lord of the Rings, where got that big fire thing and he's fighting it with magic.
Gandalf and Balrog. Yes, I'm intimately familiar.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're trying to get down. We're trying to get down to earth here. And we're right now we're comparing it to a fairy tale. Brian's asking, how did you learn that these things about purgatory? Did you read them in purgatory? Did somebody tell them to you verbally in purgatory?
Oh,
like what method did you learn this by?
Purgatory is the place where lost soul goes.
Well, you were familiar.
No, that's not my question. Yeah. You're telling me more about purgatory. I'm asking you about your experience in purgatory. These things that you know, did you read them? Were they told to you?
Yeah, where's the information conveyed to you? So you're in purgatory.
I was in.
Okay, we're with you.
I'm trying to tell you, I was in purgatory with all of the lost souls, and they were in an arena. Well, it's like you got a place called Helven also. Helven is like an arena that they go to, but purgatory is like a mental institution where they walk the streets. So they were walking the streets for years, and then they went into a place called Helven, which is like a theater. a big stadium theater seating where it was like millions and billions of people, and I was giving them seminars of all the stuff that I wrote down.
Okay, so this Helven place, you said that seating. So do you have a body when you're in purgatory, or did you leave your body? Are you physically going there, or are you saying like a spiritual travel?
Yeah, they're physical. They're when a person loses their soul, they go to purgatory 100% themselves. And then on Earth,
I don't know what a soul is.
Their initial body is, they're not all the way conscious. You get what I'm saying by conscious?
I know what you mean by conscious. Okay, so again, we're not here to exclusively hear a testimony. We're here to engage over questions about that testimony. And I don't mean questions as in you need to prove anything to me. I mean questions as in you're the one who had this experience, and we're trying to relay it to our audience as best we can. So that's why I'm asking you questions. Okay. So I'm not trying to trap you. I'm trying to figure out how you know what you know.
No, that's what I'm here for, to get some questions and give you all.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
so I just wanted to establish that baseline and just make sure that that we're on the same page there. So again, when we say like, so you said you taught seminars in purgatory about purgatory to souls? Is that what I understand?
It's about the victory over the devil. So like when I wrote all that stuff, all those people doing all that stuff to me, it was a victory over the devil. Basically what I'm trying, my goal is to teach the whole planet how to use those supernatural powers. That's my goal.
We're very interested in that.
I would love to learn how to use supernatural powers. Believe me, if there's a way you could teach me to do that tonight, I mean, maybe not like teach me everything you know tonight, but
we could just start with getting to purgatory. Can we start with that? How do we get there?
How do I get there? Yeah, sorry.
Well, the thing you could die in purgatory if you didn't have the knowledge and the exorcism knowledge and the ability to use supernatural powers, because not everybody would have these abilities. You see what I'm saying? Like, not everybody can be an exorcism. Some people are too evil to be an exorcist. You know,
okay.
And so basically,
what's an example
if you were able to, I'm sorry?
Oh, no, it's okay. Go ahead.
So if you were able to use supernatural powers, then you would be able to enter into different dimensions and realms where you could survive. You get what I'm saying? Because if you can't survive,
actually, you kind of lost me there a bit. Can we just back up to about the supernatural powers and stuff? I would suppose. Okay. Well, just hold on. Let me just formulate what I'm saying. I suppose that accessing this, I would guess you call it an alternate dimension, having access to that dimension would be considered supernatural power in and of itself. What other powers are you talking about? And of course, exorcism, assuming that demons or foul spirits or whatever do exist and can possess people, being able to exorcise them would be a supernatural power. Or are those the powers that we're talking about then?
Yes, and these are powers that humans have. Humans are supernatural people, but they just don't know that they're supernatural people.
In what way are we supernatural?
Just by doing exorcisms. It's basically, an exorcism will give you peace. And this right here, what I'm about to tell you, is going to give you a big understanding. The devil is discomfort itself. The devil is discomfort itself. So when you remove the discomfort off of yourself supernaturally, that is an exorcism.
I want to talk to you about something you talked about earlier a little bit in regard to peace. You said, what did you say exactly about peace? You said, peace. Yeah, you said removing what was it? Removing discomfort causes peace. Is that accurate? Or what was the axiom that you made?
Well, discomfort
or claimed.
Discomfort is the opposite of peace.
Okay.
So,
and so you're saying
yes,
that
by removing discomfort.
Oh no, go ahead.
Yeah, so basically, when I came up with all the common denominator was the lack of peace that I had. Basically, the common denominator is discomfort. It's the same thing as saying lack of peace is discomfort. But I didn't realize that then. I didn't realize.
I need to clarify, and this is for the chat more than anybody, for the people out here asking questions and stuff. How do we differentiate between possession and need for an exorcism and mental illness and need for medical help? How do we differentiate that?
Well, this might be a little controversial, but I don't believe there's such thing as mental illness.
Okay.
A lot of people say that I'm mentally ill, and I mean, person after person will say, "Oh, you're crazy. You're mentally ill. You're mentally ill," and it's like, a lot of these.
Anybody can say anything. Let's look at the reasons why they're saying that.
I'm sorry.
I said anybody can say anything about anybody. What do you think the motivations are for somebody to say that?
Just to be a soldier for discomfort. They're a soldier. They've been, like I said, they're not all the way conscious.
So you
know
think
what I'm saying? They're not all the way conscious because they're possessed by the devil.
Okay, to restate, I don't recognize a devil. I don't think a devil exists. So let's try to get more on the same page here. To restate, you think that these agents of discomfort cause you discomfort on purpose. Like when they wake up in the morning, their intention is to cause discomfort. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, because what you're supposed to do is combat it. So basically,
are gay people
combat discomfort?
Are gay people an agent of discomfort for you?
Well, I think homosexuality is discomfort for me. Being a heterosexual, like if a man touched me on my butt, that would be discomfortable to me.
Well, that would be just as bad. That would be just as bad if anybody touched anybody
on their butt without consent.
I broke up. Sorry.
If a woman touched my butt, I wouldn't be as mad as if a man touched me.
Well, that's not so much. That's not so much the point. Okay, so maybe that's not the right angle to go on this. I was just kind of making sure we had a baseline established there about what kind of discomfort. So give me an example of discomfort that is caused to you by people who you think cause it intentionally.
An example of discomfort. Let's see.
Like a behavior or
bad driver. You got some people on the road, they drive like maniacs. And they're purposely driving like a maniac and honking their horn at you. You know when the light turns green and it was green for like half a second and they honk their horn at you to move? Has that ever happened to you?
Yeah, it has.
Yeah.
My rule is count to 5.
That's a demon trying to. Yes.
No, that's not a demon. It's an asshole. There's a huge difference between a demon and an asshole.
That is discomfort into you.
Right.
I'm telling you,
sir, the discomfort comes from within you. The discomfort is how you feel about their actions. Now, they may be entering your personal space.
Discomfort is a living creature. Discomfort is a living creature.
Oh.
Where does it live? Yeah, sorry. Go ahead, Brian.
That's exactly what I was going to ask. So if it's a living creature.
What happens is if you ever performed an exorcism on yourself and removed discomfort off of you, it could jump back on you. And then you remove it again, and it jumps back on you, and then you get in this fight, and that's how you know it's a living creature. I remember one time I stayed up.
Hold on. Let's explore this real quick. So I agree with you that it's a living creature because it's you. It's part of yourself and part of your own inner self. well, maybe I shouldn't be saying that as a fact, because maybe you don't feel that way. And if you have a opposition to that or something to demonstrate that discomfort is external, because we all have internal conflicts with ourselves. We all have to work to be better and work to be good people. We all have demons, and I put air quotes up when I say that, in our personality that we have to work on and improve on all the time, right? So are you
and certain people have a different version of peace than other people. Like somebody might think smoking crack gives them peace.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
well, I think
really
we can.
Peace,
I think we
really
can demonstrate.
No discomfort. Peace is to be free of discomfort. You see what I'm saying?
I think we can demonstrate that smoking crack is bad for somebody, even if it makes them feel good.
Right.
Like, there are specific health.
That's what I was just saying. To kind of.
Yeah, there's a gray area between medications to aid you with your mental health and drug abuse. There's a gray area that you never know when you're going to move into that region and find yourself struggling with drug abuse when you weren't intending to, and were taking it to medicate yourself. So that's a whole different direction that we're going to that we're going to be going down there. So let's move back to the supernatural claims. So I think that's more on brand with what we're doing here. We could go back and forth about the mental health stuff. Maybe I shouldn't have asked about it, but it does concern me when I hear people talking about possession, because a lot of the symptoms of possession that you hear about are actually symptoms of people struggling with mental illness that is not being properly treated. So that's why I wanted to ask about that and how you differentiate that in your line of work.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't sound like that's going to be a safe route for us to go. So let's move back to the supernatural claims about purgatory, because that's a fun topic. We can talk about purgatory and how the soul leaves the body. Is that what you're claiming there?
Yeah, well, when someone loses their soul, it goes to a place called purgatory, and they just go there and they just walk the streets for years, and they just walk the streets, and they're on earth. So if you were able to go into purgatory, you would see these people.
So there's streets in purgatory. It's a physical place. It's like a physical place that you're physically interacting with your surroundings.
It's like another dimension or another realm. But
how do you get there?
Right in front of your face. You know what I mean?
What do you like meditate?
No.
Do you meditate and leave your body?
We're so close to it. I'm sorry.
What's that? How do you get there? I need to know. I want to. We want to know how to get there.
You would have to basically be victorious over the devil, because if you weren't victorious over the devil, which is like, and there's a lot of stuff that I have like 100 pages worth of written stuff about supernatural power and about the devil. All I do is expose the devil.
Who wrote them?
You know what I mean? Like there's a word called superficial, and it's a very powerful word, and like only the devil is superficial.
Wait, what is
superficial?
What is superficial?
It's the opposite. It's the opposite of thorough. The opposite of thorough is superficial. So like, if you're not thoroughly respectful to everybody, and you respect this person and you disrespect this person, like you're superficial. And a lot of people are like that religiously. Like, for example, if you were judging a chili cook-off, if there was somebody they were judging a chili cook-off, and there were 20 people who made chili, and the judge eats one of the chilies and doesn't eat the other 19, and he says, this one chili that I ate is the winner, and he didn't eat anybody else's chili. That is superficial. That is like being unfair, not being thoroughly respectful. And
Okay, we get that the analogy, and that's exactly why we do this, because we want to be thorough. We want to ask every question about every claim, especially when it comes to claims about what happens after we leave this world, because that's important. If there's some kind of afterlife and I need to be working towards retaining a good spot in it, I want to know, but I'm not just going to accept that.
Yeah, I mean, basically, just to get there, you just got to be a peaceful person, like a thoroughly peaceful person, like peaceful
right,
to everybody.
Hey, Michael.
If you see discomfort,
Michael.
I'm sorry.
I'd like to push back a little bit on the definition of superficial, because your explanation of it didn't quite match with my understanding. Now, in the sense of not being thorough, that is something that superficial can mean, but as the word stands, what it means is on the surface or just above the surface. That's like super being above and official being the surface.
That's one of the
right.
That's kind of like a definition that's not that clear. But when
hey Michael, I know I'm looking at the acronyms right now. I know exactly what you're doing. And I'm not even trying to say you're wrong about what you're talking about because of this. I just want to recognize that this isn't how that word is normally used, so we can clarify it for our audience. Because when you said superficial is the opposite of thorough, it struck me as a little weird at first, and then I looked into it and I understand your angle on it.
It's a broad meaning.
Hold on.
It means being
bud.
unfair. Being unfair.
Okay, but that's not what superficial does not mean being unfair. Superficial has nothing to do with fairness judgments, and that's where you're using this word incorrectly.
But that's unfair. Unfair is
Michael, I can mute you, or you can let me finish.
Right?
So as I was saying before, I kept being interrupted. Superficial has nothing to do with fairness judgments. Superficial has something to do with being just on the surface. My definition that reads truest to me is appearing true or real only until examined more closely. And now that I've had a moment to say that, we'll put Michael back on the air.
Michael, you there?
Yes, sir, I'm here.
All right.
Okay.
Did you hear what I said about appearing to be true or real until examined more closely? And that's way more in line with the definition of superficial?
Yeah.
So you can do a superficial examination of stuff and say that wasn't a thorough examination.
Right.
But you have to put a context on it in order for it to pull that.
Superficial has nothing to directly do with fairness judgments. A superficial person isn't necessarily unfair. They just are only skin deep or not.
Is this the same Michael we were just talking to? I think we might have a different Michael.
Oh, did I pick up the wrong Michael?
The other Michael dropped.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
And then you picked up the next Michael.
I'm sorry, Michael.
I am so
Thank
sorry
you for calling
about
the perspective. You're on with Brian and Martin, and we were just talking to another Michael. This is the second time that this has happened to me in
Martin's
the
fired.
last 3 shows that I had.